Yo, 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 yo. We are live, baby dolls. Game 6. We got 14 minutes and 45 seconds left to go in the second period. The Edmonton Oilers trying to force a Game 7 are well on their way to doing so. It's 2-0. The Florida Panthers are trailing. They just got a goal from the great Barkov, the East Coast Kopitar, taken away due to an offsides. So looks like we're going to see a Game 7 Monday night in South Florida. But there's still a ways to go. I mean, Bobrovsky's actually playing pretty good for Florida. So, but so is Skinner. That's Lois chiming in. So, I think the key so far to this game has been the play of Leon Draisaitl. He looks like he's in it to win it, baby doll. So, and McDavid, he looks pretty good too, to be honest with you. So, Florida only has 4 shots in the game. This will be a not a quick one. Might even be under an hour because I have to go to Temecula tonight for a stand-up gig. Temecula is pretty far from LA. Yeah, I mean, my Hackamania set wasn't great, but it was as good as it could have been. And I knew people were going to be streaming. I mean, as soon as I walked on stage, I saw a guy fumbling around like this in the second row, trying to get the record button going. So, thank you. When I analyze my sets from tonight to tomorrow night, Hackamania, I actually analyze 3 different times. I analyze it live in the flesh, baby. And as soon as I walked out there, and I didn't get like the biggest applause, I'm like, oh, fuck, they're tired. And, I wasn't exactly set up for success by the guy before me who had bombed with pedophile jokes. So I knew the first minute or two was going to be just getting the crowd back. Hello. Not necessarily blaming the guy who went ahead of me, but, in comedy, you want to ride the wave, and there was no wave to be ridden. And then I forgot what joke I had. I think it was maybe when I started to roast the crowd a little bit, and it got them back, and it was a tolerable set. I think that I was maybe the only comic who, well, in the Vegas comics who are not Dabbleverse, comics at all. The first few comics, Adam Dominguez, Kool-Aid, Alex Kool-Aid Ansel. But of the ones on the main show, I was the only comic who pretty much did just material. And I knew that was risky. They wanted to hear like steel toe jokes and me roasting Kevin or I don't know, whoever else, the Chad and Julie and Bob. But, I just want to do my stand up. So I would absolutely come back again. I would not up there on a Friday afternoon. I learned my lesson. And I thought Win Earl Skakel's Money was a smashing success. I mean, listen, you can give Melton all the shit you want, but we gave away $1,000 of money to pretty much local Vegas comics. So, but I knew in regards to me that everyone was going to get recorded, and then it was gonna be on 1,000 people's streams, My Lost Interest, Win by Two, all those cats. So, that's, and even though I'm Dabbleverse adjacent, I know, I'm, not necessarily a divisive figure, but, I know since I don't really that makes people want to dislike me for some reason. I mean, it's such a fucked up world that the fans actually don't like you if you are likable. Like, they want you to be like a dick and talk about people's kids and dox people and call people drunks and pedophiles, and it's not my jam, man. But, you know, that's just the way it is. But, thank you for, letting me know. Uh, and then, so I analyze myself live, and then, usually about an hour after the set, when the adrenaline and whatever the nerves are kind of winding down, I will analyze it again. And then the third time I analyze my set is the next day. All right, you woke, you got a good night's sleep, you got an energy drink in you, some breakfast. What would you have done differently? What could you have done differently? And and that's what I did with the Hackamania set. When I was doing it live, especially the first few minutes, I'm like, fuck, I'm bombing, man. This sucks. And then I got a laugh with, I think, a Holocaust joke or something. So the rest of the set was tolerable. Um, and then about an hour later, I think when I was at the Dirty at 12:30, I was like, okay, it wasn't as bad as I thought it was. And then the next day, as I was driving back home, I got a message from someone gigantic in the Dabbleverse world who was not Hackamania affiliated. I mean, this is someone who is mentioned on almost everyone's stream. So, and he said, "Hey, I thought you were the best." So then I felt, all right. And he's not someone I really know. We've spoken in DMs very few times. So that made me feel a little better. Um, but I thought I didn't think anyone bombed but the guy before me. I mean, I think, Ray was the smartest from the standpoint of, when he first came out there, he just did Dabbleverse jokes, which is what they wanted. And I don't really do that. So, it's all good. But I had a good time. I mean, this isn't very popular to say, but Carl was cool to me. Joey C was cool to me. Melton, treated me above and beyond. Hit the like button if you can. And who else am I missing? I mean, I had never met Ray before. He was pretty cool. And then who else? I mean, I'd never really. Oh, I had definitely had met T.O. Hank and um, Michaela and KB. So it was fun, and it only, it's good if the show is successful next year. It'd be an alternative to the people who can't get booked on, say, Skankfest. Skankfest doesn't take everybody. They're actually pretty selective. I know some really funny comics who had not gotten selected for Skankfest. So, I think I did Skankfest maybe 3 years ago, maybe longer. I think it was the first Naked Roast battle, so maybe 2017. Yeah, it had to have been 2017. So, I don't know. And it was awesome. I mean, I had to see a lot of horrible bodies naked. But there were some things that were truly amazing to see. Like one girl pulled her set list out of her pussy, and another girl did the same thing, but she was on her period, so she had her jokes attached on her tampon. Like it was, complete madness. Um, and that was in Brooklyn at the OG Creek in the Cave, and then the Naked Roast Battle was at some downtown lofts that was like 300 or 400 people. Like it was packed. Audience wasn't naked. The judges were me, Ari Shafir, and Bronston Jones, and Zach Amico was the host. Uh, Earl, how did you first get introduced to the gangbang scene back in the day? Be cool. It's not his life anymore. It's definitely not. I ran with a real wild group of friends. I mean, these um, group of friends that I ran with would make Dalia, Callan seem like virgins. I mean, they were all agents and managers, and they lived to party. I mean, their whole lives were you're at the office at 7 a.m. You don't go home till probably 11 p.m. because you're, as soon, the when you're an agent or a manager, it's not a 9 to 5 job. You got to be up at 7 a.m. to deal with your New York clients, who it's already 10 in the morning for them. And then usually after your office hours, you have to go to a movie premiere, a TV premiere. You have to go to a film set to check up on your clients. And then, you have to, if you're in the stand-up world, you got to go to the comedy store and check out a client or whatever. So the hours are brutal. It's work. But the flip side on that is when they party hard. They probably work easily 100-hour weeks. And in a 48-hour weekend, they played 49 hours. I mean, it's the lifestyle that you could really only do when you're younger. I mean, I'm single now, but like if I were to try and do that stuff now, it's like, I might go to one nightclub, and I hate nightclubs now because I went to nightclubs in the 80s. That's nothing beats that. I mean, I sound like my parents did when they were telling me about Elvis. So you missed out, but I'm telling you right now, to go to nightclubs in the 80s, game over. Like, because in LA anyway, I don't know where you guys are all from. Uh, the nightclubs now are just horrible. You have a place like Saddle Ranch. So, um, that's why I don't necessarily miss that. Um, yeah, this really is the learning tree. Yeah, I mean, Skankfest is fun. I mean, those guys, Lewis and I think Rebecca and Jay Okerson's girlfriend, Stephanie, I think is her name. They've done a great job, and it's an awesome. Uh, it's now the audience is pretty much 85% dudes, but it's very fun, and it's like I would call Skankfest the comedy festival for comics by comics, where like you know Just for Laughs, which is Montreal. I did it twice, only never as a comic for roast battle, so I don't really count doing it really. But you have to have major management or an agent set it up. What up, William Zoom? What up, Kongzilla? Uh, and even like when Just for Laughs had that uh, alternative to New Faces called Unrepped, you still had to have a connection to get in there. So even on something called Unrepped, you still had to have, um, someone helping you get on there. Big Boulder Johnny, $5. Let me hear you holler. Does the camera really add 15 pounds? I mean, I don't know, to be honest with you. I will say that when I was on Death by Fame for my friend Lori Adana, who got killed, you guys, I think everyone here knows that story. Um, it was for the Discovery Channel ID network. So I figured they didn't have a big budget. But I thought they would have hair and makeup. But, I thought, you know what? I better take a shower and put on a face serum and moisturizer just in case. And so I get there, and I could tell it was a pretty low budget production. I mean, they had like these beautiful 4K or 8K cameras. Um, and so I sit down, and I'm expecting, because I've been on so many film sets and TV shows, or maybe I shouldn't say so many, but I've been on enough to like get it. Um, and it was I could tell they were getting ready to shoot. I'm like, "Oh, is there hair or makeup?" They're like, "Not really." And so if you look at that um show, I guess it would be replayed, sometimes. Those cameras picked up everything. Like, I had the smallest zit right there, and man, it looked like a fucking boulder on these 8K cameras. They put on nothing on me. So especially the first shot where the camera was like below me, it, it picked up the bags under my eyes. I mean, I had zero makeup on. So that doesn't really answer your question, Boulder Johnny. But these cameras are so uh, intense that I do think and that's why you see a lot of people wear black on camera, because it kind of makes you look doesn't make you look smaller, but if you wear white or any color and you have a pot belly, it's going to show. Yeah, absolutely, William. Well, I could tell they were struggling because it is a pain. As you can tell, like right now, when I tilt my glasses like that, you can see a lot of the reflection of the computer in there. So I could tell they were struggling. I said, "Guys, I can do it without my glasses if that helps." And they were all like, "Whew." Kemper's second stint with the Kings will last longer than his first one. Yeah, well, um, me too. Um, we could still talk about the Pierre-Luc Dubois trade. That trade was the equivalent of a tattoo cover-up for the Kings. It was basically fixing the mistake of the original trade, but we'll see. I mean, I've got sources. I want to protect their anonymity. I've got friends of mine who play on the team. I've got friends of mine who work on the team. Uh, I've got friends of mine who report on the team, and they all gave the same answer on Pierre-Luc Dubois. Um, Nice guy, always answered questions, and most of them revolved around, "Why aren't you playing better, bro? You're making $8.5 million." And he never would run from a question. Uh, I was told through many sources that in terms of inside the locker room, half the team liked him, half the team didn't. And he just, overall, he's just aloof. Now I've watched hockey. I'm 55. I've probably seriously watched hockey since I was 10. I think I started going to King games in 79, 80. So I've watched hockey basically 45 years. And in those 45 years, I've seen some lazy players. I've seen a guy like Peter Klima not really back check, but even every now and then he would try. Um, I've seen some other players who, were what they call in the hockey parlance cherry pickers. I've never seen a player play like Pierre-Luc Dubois. One hand on the stick, probably 75% of the time, and plays in game like it's a bag skate. Now, for those of you wondering what's a bag skate is like when the players are just trying to get loose and warm up. It's not too intense. You're just kind of out there getting the muscles lubed up. Well, that's how he plays. So, it's too bad because I was at probably his best game as a King um, against the Seattle Kraken. And that's when Trevor Moore scored his hat trick, and Dubois had assisted on all three goals. And you could just see, okay, this is the guy we're paying $8.5 million for, especially on the last goal when he knew Moore was going for the hat trick. He made a play, Dubois made a play among the boards where the only way to get it to Moore, who was kind of in on a breakaway, is Dubois would have to dive and chip it to him. And he did. And of course, Moore went in, scored a breakaway, hats being thrown everywhere. So, that was his best game. And it was a physical play he made when he was going to the bench and a Kraken kind of ran him. And you could tell with the most minimal effort, he shouldered the guy and sent the guy flying. And it's just like, fuck, man, why don't you play like this? Not all the time. That's unsustainable. But at least like 50 of the 80 games play like that. Just 50 of the 80 games. But, it's also a thing with Pierre-Luc Dubois where, he's 25 years old. The Capitals are now his fourth team. So at some point it's on him. And, it's like when I was a kid, there was a player in the league, Michel Petit, who I think ended up playing on 10 or 11 teams. But for him, it wasn't that he was lazy. It's just he was only capable of giving you so much. He was a very hard-nosed defenseman. He could pop in a goal here and there. He was drafted in the first round by the Vancouver Canucks, much like Dubois was by Columbus. But you know what? It was just like he hit a ceiling in the NHL, and he was never going to be better than what he gave. But he gave. And that's, I think, the frustrating thing with Dubois is I don't think he's ever, outside of the one playoff series with Columbus against Tampa Bay, and this is the frustrating thing with him. I wish people would clip this instead of my stand-up from Hackamania. If anyone can clip this and just put Pierre-Luc Dubois in the search title, I could get some numbers for that. But Columbus swept the Tampa Bay Lightning, who had the best record, maybe I think in league history. I think 62 wins or something crazy like that. And I'm not going to say he was the only reason. It's funny enough, Bobrovsky was the goalie for Columbus. But Dubois was just a fucking animal. And I think every team who trades for him, the Kings, the Capitals, the Jets, I think they all were like, that's the guy we want. So we'll give you whatever you want for that guy. And he just, 4 teams already. Now, I think it's going to be funny because I see him having a good year next year because he's probably going to be on a line with Ovechkin, Tom Wilson. And that's a good line because I think Tom Wilson will, if he sees Dubois floating, he'll fucking run his own team, mate. Go, hey, motherfucker. I don't know what happened in LA, Columbus, or Winnipeg, but you're not going to pull that shit on my watch. Yeah, I mean, you'll never see a pay-based performance system because there's no way. Like, I agree with you. It's like when a player always has a good season, they want to be paid more. But like when they have a season like Dubois, Dubois going to the Kings, let's just say they didn't trade him. Go, yeah, I know I was paid $8.5 million, but You guys only have to give me 5 because I played like shit. Why do the referees freeze the pucks? Well, because the pucks get warm. So they have to. I mean, obviously I've never been on the ice in an NHL arena, but it gets hot in an NHL arena, so you can't have warm pucks. They'd be bouncing like a racquetball. GM Rob Blake said on Wednesday, Talbot is not expected to be back. Yeah, I mean, it kind of sucks. A warm puck bounces a lot um, because the ice. If it's warm in the arena and there's snow buildup on the ice, or the ice is even worse, liquidy, like melting, basically. I mean, it is ice. It'd be a disaster. I mean, I don't think. I mean, Talbot didn't play great, but he played good. And Big Save Dave was pretty good. I don't think Kemper is that much better than Talbot, to be honest with you. But this is where King fans have to fucking. Why didn't we get Allmark? Why? Because I guarantee you, Boston would not have picked up all of Dubois' salary. I mean, I almost said the Redskins. The Capitals were probably the only team that said, "We'll take his whole salary." Oh, we got a breakaway here. Here we go. Score, man, 3-0. Looks like we're going to see a game 7. This end of game 6 could get nasty. Hold on, the guy from my gig tonight is sending me a message here. So Kemper was definitely not probably the first choice for the Kings. Hold on. I'm sure Soros, Nashville has couple goalies that you've got Soros and this Russian kid Askarov, I think is his name. So they're going to want to at some point give him the mantle. I would have rather had Soros, but I can guarantee you Nashville was not going to pick up all of Dubois' salary. So we'll see what happens. It's I mean, they did. I think if Arvidsson doesn't come back, if Roy doesn't come back, you shaved off 8.5 for Dubois' contract. If Grunstrom doesn't come back, if Lizotte doesn't come back, which it's likely all those guys aren't going to come back. I mean, maybe Grunstrom, because he does provide what little grit the Kings have along with England. I mean, Roy, I'm sure they want to sign, but if they bring him back, you're kind of clouding the development of either Clark and or Spence. I mean, I think the Kings have if all those players don't come back, Grunstrom included in this scenario, the Kings have about $24 million in salary cap. Now that sounds like a lot of money, but they also have to ink Byfield to at the minimum a bridge deal. So, depending on what that is, the Kings should have something around. We have a little skirmish here. Panthers fourth line. You could tell that the Panthers are gonna, gonna try and rough it up. We got who we got on the. We got Ekholm, and that looks like a Lomberg move there. This third period could be interesting to watch. I might have to be late for my gig. But we'll figure that out. No, I am working a gig. I did not know that, or sucks. Yeah, Panthers are, they're struggling right now, no doubt about it. Uh, yeah, Capricorn 1, great movie, obviously made, for little budget. Hit the like button too if you can. Um, at the end of the day, a pretty good cast for a '70s movie. I think '78 it came out. So, you had James Brolin, who was a pretty big deal back then. Sam Waterston, Elliot Gould, was a very in-demand actor in that time frame. OJ, I can't say he was an in-demand actor, but he was definitely working a lot. And I thought OJ was cast perfectly, like, hey, dude, just don't say a lot. And I love that scene where Sam Waterston's telling the joke as he's climbing up the mountain, clearly like losing his mind, and then he gets to the top and the bad guys are waiting for him. That's like one of my favorite movie scenes ever. Can you give one of your followers something bizarre and pointless from your house tonight, like a salt shaker or keychain ring? I mean, what is this, live auction? Uh, I'm wearing shorts. My old lady's bush has gone full blown commando, like Schwarzenegger commando. I don't know what that means. Okay, USA, yeah, Bloodsport, baby doll, Mud Sharks Unite in the house. OJ's innocent, a comedy writer. He's a great actor. He kind of is. I mean, listen, he was funny in the Naked Gun movies. No, I love that scene though. Like, I'm underselling it. Um, and of course, a great scene with Telly Savalas. Uh, just one of my favorite, and Hal Holbrook. I mean, you can't go wrong with Hal Holbrook in anything. I was happy to see him pop up on Sons of Anarchy as Katie Seagal's dad. I did watch Who Killed WCW, and you know what? I think they all did. They were all to blame for the downfall of WCW. They just were. I mean, it's Bischoff. I mean, listen, Bischoff got it to where it was. I mean, WCW was basically in a TV studio. If you look at some of those early Sting and Flair matches, and Flair and Tony Atlas, he's in a fucking TV studio, a very small one at that. He got that to beating the WWE for 83 weeks. But I also think that, um, he let the inmates run the asylum. And I think Hogan having creative control was probably not the best move, but I understand it. Um, and Nash, I love Kevin Nash, but he kind of he never really takes the blame for anything. But he was running buck wild with Hall and Bischoff and Hogan. Um, so and then Russo, his ideas were archaic, so he's to blame. But to me, it's unfathomable that you don't have Sting or Ric Flair talking. I mean, those two guys were WCW. So either The Rock, who I think is behind producing this, I could see him not liking Flair, but everyone likes Sting. I mean, Sting. I've know a lot of pro wrestlers now, and listen, when I did the Ric Flair roast, a couple of my friends who are pro wrestlers reached out to me and said he's kind of a dick. He was great to me, but I could see Flair burning bridges with his coworkers. So it doesn't quite mean as much without Flair and Sting and their involvement. I mean, The Rock seems kind of like he was a fan of WCW. Um, so, the fourth one, I don't know. They're stretching it out a little bit, to be honest with you. I mean, it's definitely, I think, a three-parter without Sting or Flair. And then, Vince McMahon hated WCW. Like, that's why every person who crossed over got buried. I mean, look, Sting was buried, Booker T was buried. Uh, really, I mean the Radicals, which was Benoit, Guerrero, Malenko, and Jericho. They were, Perry Saturn. I mean, Benoit wasn't exactly buried, but it was still like they were held back. So, now I've heard an interesting rumor that Shane McMahon wants to come back and be a character in AEW, which I would love. Clearly, him and Triple H aren't homies, so that would be awesome to see Shane McMahon. That could, I could see him if he came to London, for AEW's WrestleMania. Watch out, babies. Um, think they, I mean, Elliot Gould, like in Capricorn 1, he was great as the paranoid reporter. I love Charles Grodin, though. And I also, that's one of my memories of the last couple of years of my mom and I. We would, I was never in Miami that much, but when I was, we'd watch Charles Grodin's talk show on MSNBC, or I'd call her when she was watching it, and we'd watch it together over the phone. Midnight Run. Well, I liked what was that baseball movie with Jim Belushi and the really hot blonde girl? Not Risky Business, but Taking Care of Business, maybe. Zoom. Can you correct me on that? Uh, well, I mean, maybe he doesn't like his dad. He probably doesn't get along with his sister. Probably doesn't like Triple H. It'd be a great way for AEW to be like, "Fuck you." American History X is a better movie from end to beginning. Hello. No, it wasn't Mr. Destiny. It was like Taking Care of Business or something with business in it, where Jim Belushi sneaks out of prison to see the Cubs in the World Series, and and then he meets the hot blonde with the short hair, and I don't know. I forget what Charles Grodin's role in it was, but it was like an '80s, late '80s, maybe even early '90s movie. But never buy a box fan again. Do yourself a favor and buy a X blower. What are you talking about, dude? I don't know what you're talking about. Um, so Tony Khan needs someone around to help develop stories, but I don't think Shane is the guy you want. Okay, taking care of business. Yeah, I mean, I do think that. Well, no, Jim Belushi was great in Thief. Let me tell you that much. Tell you, it's so hot right now, and this is the shirt I wore in yoga. I got to do this. Sorry, guys. Woo! No. Um, I think just Tony Khan needs someone from time to time who would say no. Like, no, that's not a good idea, Tony. Because right now it's just all his ideas, and everyone's probably kissing his ass, telling, "Hey, this is a great idea," blah blah blah. Um, you know, I just think he needs like a stopgap to go. No, 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 no. Like I would have told him you can't do AEW Dynamite in Bakersfield, like because I was there, and I would say that there were maybe 2,000 people in there. If you said 2,500, I wouldn't call you a liar, but I'm like that's a stretch. And I'm sure people would be like, "We're getting a good deal on the arena. What the fuck are you talking about?" But I'd be like, Bakersfield is a horrible market because it's not a wrestling town. So you are expecting wrestling fans from LA, San Diego, and farther to make that drive on a Wednesday in LA traffic. You're fucking nuts. And that's why the arena was half empty. But that's like simple logic. It's not even talking shit. It's just logic of saying, hey, maybe we should do it in San Diego instead. Now that's still a 2.5 hour drive for me, but San Diego has a wrestling history. Uh, but what are you gonna do? I mean, okay, I've never seen that one, William. I'll have to check it out. What happened to Miro Rusev? I mean, he's signed in AEW, but they're not using him. Right now, they're not using Powerhouse Hobbs. I really would kill it in AEW creative because I'm a fucking fan. and I'm a guy who sits there and, um, I'm not gonna just we'll make Sting the champion at 64 years old. That's not realistic, but, I think they need someone who is a mark, but they're a smart mark, and, like, I tweeted out a All In London card that would be fucking amazing, man. Every match has a good story behind it. Um, I wish I could find it. Let me see. I'm so proud of this London card. Let me see if I could find it. Might take me a second. I mean, me and Conrad are cool. I mean, I don't know if he thought I was that funny or not, but what are you gonna do? Let me see here. Post. This might take me a second, but hold on. Hold on. I don't have a producer, so I have to go and look at this stuff. I apologize for doing this. I will find it, but it is a great, great idea that and they'll probably get Ricochet. Oh, here we go. Here we go. This is my idea for All in London. All right. MJF versus Osprey, which they kind of teased the other night. Someone's listening to me. Um, Omega versus Okada. Just run back a New Japan match they had. Now, I've noticed lately in regards to Omega and Okada that Jack Perry, the scapegoat, has been doing Omega's moves. So I think they're setting up Omega and Jack Perry for All in London. So you'd have to come up with something for Okada to do. Now, on my card, I have Strickland versus White. Now, you could take Jay White out of that and have Strickland versus Okada if they go for the Okada or Omega Jack Perry match. Ronda Rousey, who I believe last wrestled in Ring of Honor, so she is AEW adjacent against Mercedes Moné. That's a fucking WWE fans will flip over for that. FTR versus the Bucks versus a reunited Christian and Edge. Money in the bank, baby doll. Malachi Black against Buddy Matthews. They turn. The House of Black is starting to crumble. Willow Nightingale versus Tony Storm. Bryan Danielson versus Wardlow. Brody King against Killswitch. Austin Gunn versus Colton Gunn with Billy Gunn as the ref. That's a fucking great, solid card. Now, if the Omega Perry thing is happening, you'd have to find something for Jay White. Maybe you have Strickland, Okada, Jay White, three-way. I'd be down with that. No, they got to win one more before the riots start nationalist. So that's Tony Khan, baby. Let's make that card happen. I mean that's good creative, good build up. And of course, there's no Jericho or Big Bill on that card either. I mean, you'd probably have to find something for those. You'd probably have to find something for Jericho because he is still a name. Maybe Jericho against Big Bill. Maybe Big Bill turns on Jericho. So, that's how you do it. It's not just random matches. I'm talking about AEW Wrestling, William Zoom, the All in London card in August. That's their big WrestleMania. Nothing creepy about a rich single white man adopting two black boys. Yeah, you're onto something there. I never really thought of it that way. What if Batman fought Conrad Bane? Who'd win? I don't know. I mean, I don't really follow the superhero shit anymore. I used to, but you know, It's just, I don't know, didn't float my boat really, after Christopher Reeve. Superman 2 was really the last, um, superhero movie I loved. I mean, I just loved Gene Hackman as Lex Luthor, and Ned Beatty as the stumbling fool, and of course, my old neighbor from back in the day, Valerie Perrine, as Miss Tessbacher. Um, so I never really thought about that. Earth sucks. Maybe Mr. Drummond was a pedophile. Uh, and I was lucky enough to have the great Jack O'Halloran who played Nam um, in Superman 2, the bad guy who didn't speak, on an old episode of Inappropriate Earl. Earth sucks. Galactus, Thanos, Darkson, Doctor Doom. You're talking to the new generation now. Earth sucks. I can't stand behind that. Um, but I'm sure people, like, I don't know how old you are, but like younger people, uh, they think like Superman 2, Superman, some of the Roger Moore, James Bond movies are boring because there's really no special effects and whatnot. Uh, did Melissa, your neighbor, that was on a soap movie? Yeah, Melissa, like, uh, I believe she was from Texas, but she went to, I think, Africa for like a religious trip, and she's been kind of off the radar um, ever since. I mean, we keep in touch on Instagram, but I haven't seen her in a couple years. She was awesome. We did some. I think she had a podcast or whatever you want to call it. Uh, Called Melissa Builds Things, and we built like a Lego thing. It took like 4 fucking hours, and she never aired it. Yes, the 3 Kryptonians. I interviewed Jack O'Halloran, who played Nam. He was the one who didn't speak. Fascinating, Inappropriate Earl interview. One of my favorites. Because I made this fucking guy in his 70s come to my house. He was like, "Can we do a Skype?" I'm like, "Nah, I don't do it like that." Now I do, but back then I didn't. Uh, Can we do a Zoom? Nah, you got to come to my house, man. And all of a sudden, Jack O'Halloran, Nom, was on my couch. And he, I didn't really have a great deal of info about his history. And he was a heavyweight boxer and he was scheduled to fight, I believe, Muhammad Ali, but Ali backed out. Because he had a great body for boxing. I mean, it's 6'6", probably 250. Um, well, I like the movies that I grew up with. I don't. Chandler made me get rid of the couch. She was sick of the couch. Um, so I mean, I do miss that couch though. Um, Kneel before Zod. A lot of people don't put this together, but General Zod was Sir Lawrence Wildman in Wall Street. Uh, well, I mean, Jack O'Halloran, even when he came to my house, and I think this is probably 10 years ago. So he was in his late 60s, maybe 70. He's pretty fucking big, man. Like, he's not a guy I would want to mess with. And one of the strongest handshakes um, I've ever, like, when he shook my hand, it was just like this giant hand. I mean, this is what it looked like when Jack O'Halloran shook my hand. I'm Giant Robot, and this is what it's. All right, the third period started. I mean, this game could get wild. Um, we'll see. We'll hold on to it. Well, I mean, I'm not. I mean, anytime you're on a fucking animal, man, you really. That's why, as much as I used to like horse racing as a kid, Seattle Slew, Vigors, Sloppy Slew, Slew of Gold, Affirmed, Aladar, Mr. Radoy. Um, it is pretty, those horses, I once went to Medieval Times in Orange County, and you get to see the horses pretty up close. Man, they're fucking big, man. They're muscular. They're all muscle. 1,200 pounds of just pure fucking muscle. Like I'm 200 pounds and I'm not pure muscle, but can you imagine something that is 1,000 more pounds than me and not an ounce of fat on it? Silver Surfer was a herald for Galactus. Okay, I mean, I'm not hating on Silver Surfer. I just, I don't know. Oh, nice move there. Um, Earl has a horse dong. Well, it's not that big, but it ain't that small, if you know what I'm saying. Uh, Priscilla Barnes and Jenny Lee. Are you talking to Three's Company? Like after Susan Summers left? Yeah, I still watch that show. That was a really nice move by Matador. Oh, he hit the post. Hit the post, baby. I mean, listen, Florida scores, a couple quickies. We got a game here. Hello. 3-0. Edmonton has 15 shots to the Panthers 13. 7 of the 13 shots that the Panthers have come from the defenseman. So Kachuk, Reinhart, Barkov, they got to get their act together. I don't know if I was in a TV movie with her once when I was a kid. Um, well, I mean, you're just, when you think of the jockeys, they're maybe 120 pounds and they're on something that weighs literally 10 times their weight and they're whipping them. We got what a goal by Barkov. We got a ball game here, baby. Barkov getting it together. 18 minutes and 32 seconds left. It's 3-1 Edmonton Oilers with some Panther fans in the crowd. Boy! We have a Black Panther fan in the crowd. That guy's got to feel comfortable in Edmonton. Hello! What a goal by Barkov, man. That's a goal there. Yeah, Darren McGavin, dude. Come on, man. Hold on, I'm getting another message from the guy whose show I'm doing here. We're a Canada chat here, Earl. Well, listen, we can talk about all things in the Earlverse. Let me tell you that right now. Okay, all right, he's just giving me the address. Jack Tripper and Horny Larry. That guy was out of control. Remember Larry, the horny neighbor? Always trying to get Jack to go to the Regal Beagle. Um, let's see. Let me make sure what it is. Okay. All right. If you were a real fantasy island, what would be your fantasy, Earl? To have attractive women playing the WNBA. Pew! I mean, I'm sure she did have a nude. I hung with Larry Dallas at the Regal Beagle tonight. Oh, yeah, she was at the pool scene. I remember that. Magnum Force, great movie with starring one of my great favorite character actors, Mitchell Ryan. He was the cop that was losing his mind. And he was also General Peter McAllister in Lethal Weapon. What All right, game's getting a little feisty now. 3-1. Bobrovsky's playing good. Larry should have gotten his own spin-off show. Yeah, I mean, that would have been pretty I don't know if you could have done that just because I mean, Larry's only really character attribute was that he was horny. I don't know if you could build a whole show around that. Larry should be on his own. So, but that was a perfect sitcom for the time. I mean, that sitcom, Soap, was one of my favorite sitcoms. Very innovative, given the adult content that they would Pot Kettle, are you new to the stream? Hello, hello, welcome. See, I am noticing that we are getting some new people in the stream, which is the goal. We'll watch the whole game. Panthers definitely pressing. Um, Bobrovsky's played a pretty good game. I mean, that goal by Barkov, I can't fault Skinner on it. I mean, Barkov just went through the whole fucking team. Yeah, I remember Leisure Suit Larry. Um, Panthers. Oh, nice save there by Skinner. Earl should wear assless chaps for the special. I mean, the special's happening. I just released the clip of the opening on Instagram Reels, so check that out. Also, it's on YouTube. It is age restricted though, so you got to hit, I think, one extra button because I think someone reported me for the ass shot. I mean, all the shit that's on YouTube, and like, it's just unbelievable. It's bad enough they take 30%. Hey, speaking of taking 30%, let me thank the tippers tonight, the fan funders. Boulder Johnny, thank you very much. A longtime supporter of the Earlverse. Thank you very much. Tomorrow night I'll be doing comedy at a burlesque show, and then the Comedy Store late night. Yes, the Cobra style specialty is top notch. Well, that costs about $1,000 to do. Now, you guys probably would guess that costs no money, but we had to build a sound stage. We had, and that's not even counting the sign. So, you know, I'm hoping to, I want it to be special. Um, yeah, I mean, there's all kinds of stuff on YouTube. It's like, really? Like, I could understand if it was like some sexual act I was doing. There's kids on here and whatnot, but come on, man. Like, get the fuck out of here. Uh, it is a female burlesque show, and I've known these girls for a very long time, and then I just got a text from the Comedy Store asking me if I can close out the main room tomorrow night. So I will do a stream tomorrow at some point. I'm not sure when. And oh my God, this is, Panthers are coming on. They're coming on. Rumble, no rules, but nobody watches. Yeah, I mean, I've taken too long to build up my YouTube channel. No, the mic is one of those mics over there. You can't really see, but it's definitely not the Neumann 103 mic. All right, here comes Carter Verhaeghe. Verhaeghe coming in, throws a puck in the middle. Barkov's around the net. It's fishing for it. Verhaeghe out to the point to Oliver Ekman-Lawson. Nurse, I mean, Nurse is a time bomb with the puck. So if you're the Panthers, you want to make sure Nurse is carrying the puck. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I'm gonna, I almost want to do it like Hinchcliffe did it, one shot. Most people when they do, like Tim Dillon last week at the Comedy Store, I think he filmed 4 shows. I want to just do one like 2 to 3 hour show, and you just edit it together. I mean, I'm sure you do a 3-hour comedy set, the crowd will get tired at some point. A joke won't work. You just chop it. I want people to. Obviously, like the Cobra opening is like, what the fuck is this? And then I want people to stay for the jokes, which hopefully they would. Yeah, 100%. I mean, that Ritz cracker, the gangbang story, it's a great story in long form. When I have time to like tell it, and it's just funny. So there'll be a lot more long form stories on the special because I'll have the time to do so. And right now, it's really just finding a place to do it. But that's hard because there's probably 20 small theaters on Santa Monica Boulevard that I could use, but I don't want it to be just in a fucking theater that's gonna, you turn on and there's really nothing visually appealing about it. It's just some guy doing a special in a theater. There's hundreds of specials like that. That's why the place in Venice I really wanted to do it at was the most appealing. But when you're dealing with 22-year-old managers, they don't, they're 22. Um, uh, what channel is Bongino on? I mean, I used to watch him on Fox, but I don't watch. Um, get the little keychain with the picture of you going down the roller coaster. Earl, you should do the forum. Well, yeah, I'd like to at some point, but I'm probably not big enough to play the forum. But listen, never say never in this business because when you look at Kill Tony, I think I said the first Kill Tony I did a panel on, there was 25 people in the belly room, and I mean comics and audience members. So anything's possible in this business. That's why I do these streams. Starting to put up a lot more shorts because I have noticed that I've gained probably 100 people in the last 2 days just off of shorts. So that's something. Insane Raymond. I'm not saying that, Insane Raymond. I know what you're trying to do. Kill Tony is not for me, but it is successful. You got to give it that. Whether you like Tony or Red Band or whatever. I mean, it is very successful, and I remember when it wasn't. So, as goofy as that sounds, Earl played the forum at 55. Anything's possible, dude. I mean, I remember when the first night of Roast Battle, you had fucking uh, under 5 people there, and 11 years later, it sells out every week at the Comedy Store. Now, that's fucking mind-blowing to me. We got 13 minutes left. It's 3-1. Edmonton Oilers. Panthers are on a power play with 1:21 left to go in the power play. Florida leads the series 3-2. Here comes Barkov, takes the puck in, gives it to Verhaeghe. Verhaeghe kind of fumbles around with it. Watch out for Edmonton. They do have a good penalty killing. Oh my God, what a save by Bobrovsky. Being a greedy bottom. Well, I don't know about Dan Bongino's sexuality, but I just think he's a right winger, and we'll do a live. I don't think we'll do a live stream of the debate because I actually want to listen to it, but we will definitely do a debate review. I would watch it live with you guys, but that would be very annoying for you guys to hear like the sound. So, but we'll figure it out. That's next Thursday, the debate. Yeah, the dog has a very bad cough. She's got a heart murmur and fluid in her lungs. So, unfortunately, that is permanent. And, it's got to deal with it. So, it's 7:33. I probably should end the stream because I have to be out of the house by 8 o'clock on the button, Slick. So, thank you, Boulder Johnny, for your super chat. Well, I want to watch it for the jokes, and I'm actually fascinated, William, to see how they will interact with one another. Hit the like button on your way out. Lois could probably play Doc Holiday in a dog version of Tombstone. Listen, anything's possible. I'm telling you that right now. So this has been a fun stream. Earl Skakel in the house. I love you, Earl. I'm going to eat a Payday now. Yeah, fuck. I loved Payday. Payday was my favorite bar as a kid. All those nuts. Pew! Thank you, Kip Smith and Gina Babina, who's not here tonight, for being the moderator. Well, Biden might freeze up, but Trump's no picnic either. He's got some mental acuity issues as well. But who doesn't? Who doesn't? It's too bad Kennedy wasn't involved in this because he would troll both of them. So, all right, you guys, Frog Splash the like button. Yeah, hit the like button. And there's many ways you guys can help me. Yes, I'm Jewish. I love money, but I'm at the point now where I'm trying to just build this channel up. So sharing, retweeting the comedy special link, that helps. Um, oh, watch out. Um, Reinhardt made a nice move there. Hitting the like and subscribe button, that helps. Any retweets of, even on Instagram, sharing the reel I just put out on Instagram of the special. That helps. If you follow me on TikTok, I think I put it up there too. It's not doing too well on TikTok, but I didn't really expect it to be because, TikTok is a younger person's game. So I'm sure any like teenager or, person in their 20s that really even 30s is just going to be like, I don't get the reference. What the fuck is he talking about? Rapes in the LA comedy scene. Well, how is this funny? Well, it's really only funny, admittedly, if you see the movie Cobra. So, there's many ways to help me without super chatting or gifting memberships or super thanks. Um, obviously, I'm not streaming to make money. Streaming right now is kind of like the early days of LA comedy for me. If I was doing comedy for money back then, I would have quit 6 months in. So, just do what you can, and we'll see you tomorrow night. Earl Skakel in the house.